Hello, everybody.
What up, what up, what up?
My name is Tim Daniel. His name is Ben Brown. And welcome to this week's edition of Late Night Reds, part of the Riverfront Media Network and the Blue Wire Podcast Network. As you can see tonight, if you're watching the show, Ben and I broke out our Sheets shirts. We finally got them.
Team Sheets, baby. Let's
Team
go.
Sheets. Let's get it. Our guys, our team. Thanks to Sheets for the love and sending us these shirts after we gave them a ton of pub and love on an episode a few weeks back. So excited to have the show here. I just found out right before we went on air that I guess we can't stream to Twitter anymore. So that's cool.
What?
Yeah.
Well, is there a reason why?
Apparently because it says you have to have a premium account to stream on Twitter from shows now. So really neat that they just changed that.
Awesome.
Out of the blue.
Thanks, Elon.
Yeah. Shout out Elon and every wonderful thing he does for the universe, obviously. So what up, Dave? How you doing, my guy? We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of the Reds' future to discuss today. And we're going to go just start with the big news from tonight, and that's the draft. So the Reds had the number 2 overall pick. Cleveland, as expected, takes Travis Bazan out of Oregon State. So, of course, we're all thinking Charlie Condon's coming to Cincinnati. Charlie Condon is not coming to Cincinnati. Instead, Chase Burns is coming to Cincinnati as the number 2 overall pick out of Wake Forest. Also spent 2 years at Tennessee. If you're watching, you see the numbers. 23-6 in his career in college, 3.2 ERA, 408 strikeouts in 252 and a third innings, only 77 walks. An incredible whip, but all right, man. So I don't have an issue with Chase Burns. I think he's really good. It's a really nice player, but I also feel like this was kind of a dropped opportunity to have Charlie Condon sitting there waiting for you. You know that your depth right now is not your pitching in your system. Well, it is your pitching in your system. You know, you need more bats. You just caught up probably your last big league ready at bat for a little while.
Yep.
God knows what's going to happen with Edwin Arroyo when he comes back. And so, you know, don't get me wrong. Chase Burns solidifies your depth you have already in the pitching in the system, even though your Connor Phillips and Rhett Lowders have not been super impressive. I still really like Rhett Lowder. I'm not really worried about that by any means. Right. But this is kind of irritating. This is frustrating. So I thought Condon was like a no-brainer. But what do I know?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me in all this was that I think you put it best. We just missed an opportunity to get. I'm not saying that pitching isn't something that you needed, but like,
sure,
guys like that only come around so often, and you only sit at 2 so often to be able to get a guy like that,
right?
And for that to kind of let that go by the wayside is really frustrating. You know, what do we talk about all the time with this team? Building depth, right? Like, this team needs to build depth. You got to be able to survive people getting hurt. You got to be able to survive not having to get bats to guys that aren't ready to get major league at bats. So how do you do that? You bring a guy in that, I'm not saying he's major league ready, but gosh dang it, he would be close. I mean, you know, that's a guy that you could add to your lineup here in maybe 2 years, 3 years, or whatever it's going to be. And, you know, like you said, he could strike a match. He could be a guy that's really sets your lineup for a while. You don't get power numbers like that in college every day, dude. Like that guy
not at all.
He is just has a special bat. So I think that's the really frustrating thing about it is that to me, pitching is more of a crapshoot. Because for every Steven Strasburg, there's somebody else that didn't have that stuff. For every, for every guy that you drafted had a great arm, had all this ability in college, there's a guy that you take and he just fails out, or he gets Tommy John, or he gets whatever. Like, uh, you know, I don't know. I just think that you when you take a pitcher, you're just it's such a crapshoot. In college, it's really still hard to hit baseballs that many times over the fence and have that.
Right.
That's more of a reliable stat than some of the things that those guys are able to do pitching wise. So I don't know. I just think it was a missed opportunity to be able to add some depth to your lineup. Add a guy that's a proven power hitter, a guy that hit freaking 420 in the SEC. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I like you said, I thought it was a slam dunk. I thought it was a no brainer. I thought it was, once I saw Pizanin go off the board, I was like, yes, dude, I am so glad that we're going to have Condon. He'll be a guy that we can build around with, with the young bats that we got already, with your, when Matt McClain comes back and your Ellys and all the guys that you had to build around, like add that guy to your lineup here in about 2 or 3 years when Ellie's really hitting his stride, McClain's really hitting his stride. You add that back to your lineup, like it just makes you that much more potent. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a GM. I don't, and honestly, I don't scout those guys. So maybe there was something there that they saw that we don't see. I don't know, but I don't know. It just seemed like a slam dunk, and we missed an opportunity.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I just felt like this was kind of like a no doubter, and this was a situation where he just drops right in your lap. And I saw Joey Koteska's quotes about Chase Burns checks all the boxes that we asked for, and I saw another tweet that was like, well, worst case scenario, he's a high level reliever, and it's like, oh, well, high level reliever, number 2 overall, man.
Right? Like, yeah, we don't. I mean, why would you do that? Like, why? If high level reliever is his ceiling at number 2.
No, they said it's his floor, but.
Oh, okay. I was like, geez, Pete, I hope not.
Ceiling, I'd been throwing.
Ceiling, I'd be like, oh my gosh. But yeah, floor, okay. But I don't know. It was just frustrating. Even when you sent the text, I was like, oh my gosh, dude. I guess you just say Reds are going to red, I guess. I mean, like, what do you say?
Do you think when the Rockies saw the pick that they went, what?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
They're like, huh?
So we get Condon and Coors? What?
Right.
Yeah. They're like, what?
He might be on the team next year.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. They're like, all right. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. So we have Nick in the chat. He said the Reds had the next Chris Bryant right there for the taking, and they dropped the ball. Yep. Burns' best pitch gets hammered by lefties. If that's not fixed, we spend a number 2 pick on a high-level reliever. Yeah. So, Condon's going to hit 85 home runs in course. Probably.
Oh, no, that's without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. They had to be ecstatic because, I mean, you always prepare for that to happen. I mean, if you're Colorado, you're prepared. If the Reds take this guy, we're definitely taking Condon,
right.
blah, blah, blah. But in the back of their mind, they had to be like, there's no way this guy's going to fall to us. They had to be like, so.
Like when the Lakers got Dalton Connect, they were like, wait, what?
Yeah. Like what?
He's there at 17?
Like how in the world did that happen?
Yeah. It's like when you do like your fantasy drafts with your friends and you're like goofing around and you're like, oh my God, how do we forget about this guy?
Yep. Absolutely.
And it's like, actually, yeah, the Rockies are like, okay. I mean, sure.
I guess we'll take him.
That's our next Charlie Blackmon. It'll be here 25 years. And
I guess we'll take him.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how the rest of the draft shakes out. I don't think they have any compensatory picks this year that I remember. I could be wrong. I don't spend all my time on this.
I was going to say, I don't delve deep into it.
But it just feels like it's another swift kick in the private parts from what the season has been so far. But hey man, let's kind of keep looking at a glimpse into the future of the team, and let's start with someone who made some good news this week, and that was our guy Cam Collier getting Futures Game MVP, which is kind of crazy because he had 1 hit, but it was a bomb.
Yeah,
and it sounded like a missile off the bat. So pretty cool. I think the Reds now have had multiple guys. I think Jay Bruce may have got Futures Game MVP once before. I think Adam Dunn did too, if I remember correctly. My headset just went crazy, so I had to replug in. But pretty cool, right? And I think maybe this is why the Reds probably took Chase Burns today, because they got Cam Collier. So because at 12 a couple years ago, because they overspent for him. So they're probably going to say something like they didn't have enough money to get Charlie Condon. They're using that money now to draft Chase Burns. But hey, Cam Collier, Futures Game MVP.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, those are always cool things to see when somebody in the organization is able to be in the spotlight like that. And dude, it was a piss missile. I mean, he freaking crushed it. So good for him. That's exciting stuff. Kid is talented. I mean, he hits the ball well. He's hit the ball well this year. He's done some good things. So that was definitely cool to see. But I think that his upside is really cool because he's got a lot of potential as well. To see what he's able to do on a big stage was pretty neat. So,
how cool that Ken Griffey Jr. was the one that presented him with the trophy.
I was getting ready to say that. Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, because that
was really cool.
So his dad's Lou Collier. I know we've talked about this before. For those who don't really know what we're talking about here, his dad Lou Collier was the first base coach, I think, for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. And then Ken Griffey Jr. was the hitting coach of that team. So he got to work out with Griffey for a little bit. As a baseball player, you can probably find worse players to work out with.
Oh yeah. What surprises me? Ken Griffey Jr. to me he's been around way more than I thought he would be. I know he loves the game of baseball, but when he was playing, he wasn't really a guy that was super out there or talkative, but he's doing more interviews, like he's handing out trophies, he's he's doing these different things. So it's for him to be doing those things, I'm really happy about it because I really didn't think that he'd be this open to be still around baseball as much as he is, or sports in general.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the guy that when he retired, he flat out literally just drove, left Seattle and drove home to Florida overnight. It was like, I'm done during the season.
Yep.
Yeah. So what we got, Mr. Juan the House. He said, Just Baseball just said the upside of Burns is Justin Verlander. Cool. Love it. I mean, that'd be great. I need to see it, but I hope they're right. Obviously, I don't want the kid to fail by any means.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, shout out Cam Collier. Rhett Lowder also got an inning. So had a strikeout and gave up a double. Nice to see them get a couple guys in there. And obviously, Rhett Lowder was Chase Burns' teammate at Wake Forest, so I know he's excited about the pick. Yeah, for sure. So that was pretty cool. Nick brings this up. Important to note how much younger Collier is than his peers. Yes, Mr. Juan, for once, you and I are 1,000% on the same page. That was our deep conversation we had.
So here's my question to you, Tim. And this is, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of on topic, but how many guys get drafted truly reach their ceiling
in the baseball draft, where there's 1,000 rounds? And
correct. But what I guess my point is that it's great that his ceiling is Verlander, which is awesome. I mean, if he's Justin Verlander,
sure,
I'll take that all day. But I mean, how many times is Justin Verlander turned into Justin Wilson?
Yeah, I got in a lot of trouble this week for mentioning Justin Wilson, so I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful when I use that name nowadays.
I was gonna say people be trying to get on you, but what I'm saying is that as a pitcher, it becomes very there's so many different variables to a guy being a second round pick and having the success that Verlander's had, as comparatively speaking to somebody that hasn't had that success.
Yeah, I do want to make sure I mentioned here. I totally forgot about that, Mr. Juan. You are correct. Chase Burns spent 2 years at Tennessee. I even had that in my slide. So no, him and Rhett never played together. They just so happened to both pitch at Wake Forest 2 years in a row. So that's on me, but it's a long day. I just got back. Yeah. So man. I mean, how long did it take for Hunter Greene to kind of click to what we're seeing right now? And We all saw the talent was there. We all saw
Yep.
it was there. It just
Yep.
it's starting to blossom now. That's so hard, man. Like you mentioned Steven Strasburg earlier. Steven Strasburg was Steven Strasburg for 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's not his fault by any means.
No.
It's just so hard, man. It's just
Yep.
like Paul Skeens is, obviously everyone looks at him and the way what he's doing right now and how unbelievable he is. He's starting in the All-Star game.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like, how many Paul Skeens come around? Like,
Right.
I don't remember a guy like that since like Dwight Gooden.
Strasburg's probably the closest thing. Yeah.
Like those guys are like, that's a dime a dozen. Where your guy comes in, and you're like, oh my gosh, like his stuff is just different. Like it's just different than anything you've ever seen. Like it's just it's just lights out. So
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Yeah, it's just like if you look around, it's not something that happens all the time, man.
yeah,
You could mention for every one of those guys, the Reds drafted in 2011. They drafted Nick Travieso in the first round. I think he got the Double-A, got hurt, and never heard from him ever again.
Never heard from him.
Yep. Which was a bummer. I really liked him. Robert Stevenson, the Reds took him in the first round, 2010. I know I'm going a little bit back. Nick Howard, another guy the Reds took in the first round, never made it to the big league club. Pitcher. So it happens all the time, man. It's just so freaking hard, man. Like we talk about this all the time. Baseball is like crazy difficult.
It's a hard game. It's a very hard game.
Yeah. I'm so sick of Skeens comparisons to keep seeing. First off, it's inaccurate. Go look at the Skeens was on another planet that Burns was in college. Dwight Gooden and Steven Strasburg don't have Livy Dunn. I guess that's fair.
Fair. Very fair.
Yeah. But they also didn't have Brian Kelly as their school's football coach either. So, yeah, Brian.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh man.
This might be a quick episode this week. We're already flying through all this. Where am I at? All right. So yeah, back to Lowder. Cool. He got to get some action there. I like the futures game. It's just. This is where we should go with the conversation this week, okay? Because what are you doing on a Saturday afternoon? Are you sitting around watching a minor league all-star game? Probably not, right? Okay.
No.
On a Sunday of all-star weekend, are you watching the MLB Draft when games are on at the same time?
No.
Yeah. All right. How do they get this wrong? How do they get this is like I feel like baseball, and we talk about this all the time. Okay, basically, to sports, how they're not very good at marketing their players, and they're not very good at marketing their putting their stars out there. They don't do a lot of promotional stuff, and you have great things. Don't be wrong. I mean, but how do you not make so the draft? First off, is strictly on MLB Network. So if you have YouTube TV, sorry,
you're screwed.
And then there's games being played right now as we speak. And I understand baseball plays every night.
Right.
But we got to figure something out here. I mean, Monday morning, Monday afternoon, it's going to be terrible too. You have 6 days off between Sunday and when the teams start playing again after the All-Star break. You can't do it on Wednesday night or when it's after the day after the All-Star game when you still have all this momentum. I don't get it, man. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's very poorly placed. No other sport does that. Like every other sport makes a big deal of their draft. Every other sport makes a big deal of their futures games, rookie games. The NBA does theirs right before the All-Star game. So everybody kind of tunes in to see it.
Yeah.
They don't have anything like that in football, but even still, the draft was attended by almost a million people this year.
Yeah.
So people go out to see it. It's an event. It's something where people were, gathered around. Somebody has to figure out something to make it a little bit more special. Now, having it on the same day that you're having games is that's just silly. You're not even trying to promote it,
right?
And building the brand of baseball is so difficult. I think a lot of it is, to me, I don't feel like baseball likes to build stars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just don't feel like they like to build stars. I feel like it's such a team-oriented game. I think they try to keep it that way. instead of building guys that are like, of course, your Mike Trouts, your Aaron Judges, but even those guys, like Aaron Judge should be the freaking face of your league. Like I haven't seen him on a single commercial. I haven't
Yeah, it's
seen
been a
him.
while.
I haven't seen him do any kind of promotion. I haven't seen him do any kind like think about all the things we saw with Anthony Edwards when he became Anthony Edwards. Dude, he got freaking Gatorade. He got a shoe. He got all of these different. You couldn't get away from Anthony Edwards because they were like, dude, this guy's a star. Caitlin Clark, dude, you can't get away from Caitlin Clark because even the WNBA, even though they try to bully her and hurt her, they still know that she's a star.
Yeah.
But like the Major League Baseball does a terrible job of like Elly De La Cruz, for instance. Like they don't try to really build Elly as being a star. It just so happens that Ellie's so electric that other people that watch the game know how electric he is. But like for you not to build around a guy like Aaron Judge or whoever else you want to do it. Mookie Betts is another one. Like baseball people know who Mookie Betts is because he's a freaking stud. But like they don't build around Mookie Betts or they don't do things to promote this guy as being a top tier just athlete in general. Like they just Mookie Betts, he's great, he's an all-star. Yippee! Like I and I don't know why they do that. I'm not sure.
This is like 1,000% a great point by Mr. Juan.
Absolutely.
So, because he brings up in this previous message, Shohei's the face of the league. He just doesn't speak English. And then says that's why Ellie's learning English is so important for his brand.
Yeah,
1,000,000%.
Absolutely.
I mean, when they were playing the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, Elly was in like 3 or 4 ads on social media at the MLB headquarters, and that was awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's like perfect. It's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah,
I feel like, not to bring him up again because we talked about him earlier, the way baseball marketed, and I understand this is the 90s that I'm going to.
Mm-hmm.
The way baseball marketed Ken Griffey Jr. was perfect. It was excellent. You believed everything. I mean, Griffey for president was one of the greatest campaigns of all time. Literally, they made baseball cards with his face like on the president button, and it was great. And yeah, now they don't do that. You mentioned Aaron Judge is hitting like 1,000-foot home runs on the most valuable franchise in the universe, and you're like, yeah, he's cool. Like we put him on the cover of a video game.
But
Mookie Betts got a podcast, dude. Okay, perfect example is you and I casually watch hockey. I wouldn't say we're diehards.
Absolutely.
I knew way more last year about Connor Bedard than I did Paul Skeens.
Absolutely, 1,000%, 1,000%. Yeah, and I think that's probably the biggest thing is that, they just don't build their stars. Like I think Ken Griffey Jr. is probably the last one. Even Mike Trout wasn't built like Mike Trout. Like
Bryce Harper, we've been hearing about since he was in high school, and we're still just like,
I'm like, they just don't know how to build guys the right way, and I don't know if that's their marketing or whatever the case may be.
Aaron Judge isn't good. Sorry.
Okay, you got a point. You got a point, Mr. Juan.
But what's up, Carrie? How are you?
But I do think, hey, what's going on, Carrie? But I do think though, Mr. Juan does bring up a good point though. Ken Griffey Jr. was marketable because of his style. He wore his hat backwards. The kid. Like he had some pretty marketable stuff. So he made himself marketable. So maybe that's part of baseball agents that they don't make those guys marketable. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I could totally see Aaron Judge if like it was still around being an episode of Entourage and like it being like really funny. You know what I mean? Like I remember Nick Swisher being on How I Met Your Mother, and it was funny, even though I don't really like Nick Swisher much. Can we get Elly in like some sort of Disney Plus kids show where he's just like racing people?
Racing run around?
Yeah, I'm down for that. But yeah, man, this is just like, I feel like the way they put this whole week together where it's like, you guys should be the center of the sports world.
Yep.
We should be talking about baseball, nothing but this week. And I understand the loss of popularity compared to, especially, no one's comparing any national brand to the NFL anymore. It's just not a thing anymore. And it shouldn't be that way because realistically, I think the NFL is a horribly officiated product, but that's not why we're here to have that conversation.
Right.
Go to Welcome to the Jungle with Joe and Parker to talk about that. But I also feel like we're kind of the situation now where we're running into this every year. And it's like,
Yeah.
I understand the baseball draft is 9,850 rounds, but at least the first round, put it in prime time on ESPN or something.
Yep.
Good Lord,
Yeah.
man. Like,
Yeah, I think that's, but no, you're absolutely right about that, because every other draft is seen as important. I mean, I'm not into hockey, but I knew when the hockey draft was,
yeah,
and I knew who the names were that were going to be drafted, and who the guys were looking for. You know, I don't know why they don't put a emphasis on that, on why they don't look to build their future. But I think there's a lot of different things that they could do different. I definitely think there's a lot of different things they could do different, even with the All-Star stuff. Like, there's a ton of different things that they could do different with the All-Star stuff, and building guys and building brands, and there's a lot of different marketing things that they could do.
Yeah, for sure, man. One more thing I'm going to say before we move on from this topic. Bring back baseball tonight. It was the coolest show. It was so easy and so fun to watch, and it was just nothing but insane highlights, and everyone looked forward to the web gems every night. Bring it back.
Yeah, I think part of that, I think that's a lot of where baseball kind of lost that kind of spotlight, because all those shows now are on MLB Network, and fortunately for me, I have MLB Network.
Same.
But like you said, like some people who have other streaming options don't have it.
Right.
But like baseball tonight was something where you could click on it, and even if you didn't know a guy or know his team, if he got a web gem or he got a big hit, that's kind of how you got to learn who guys were.
Right.
And that leaving ESPN and them not doing that, and it's MLB doesn't get into everybody's household just like ESPN does. You know what I mean? I mean, everybody raced home to see what the web gems were. Like that became a thing. So that could be part of that too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So Dave brings up a point. Dave, I will for sure talk about this, but I just have to get a couple more things. Yeah, Carrie says I miss baseball on local networks. Didn't cost to watch the Reds. Whew. That is a conversation we could have, a podcast on that itself. But I'm gonna need a couple bottles of bourbon to bring with me to share my true feelings on that. Yeah. But let's get to the weekend real quick. Obviously, the Reds have a 5-2 week, taking 5 out of 7 against the Marlins and the Rockies. This Friday, we got a 7-4 win. Rece Hinds, grand slam, first one.
Yeah.
They go up 7-0. They win 7-4. Saturday, team hits 5 homers, including 2 from Rece Hinds. Elly hits a home run into the batter's eye. Not off the batter's eye, into the batter's eye.
That was sick.
Crazy. And then today, 3-2 loss. Elly hits a 2-run homer to tie the game. Lodolo doesn't get through 5 innings. And then they give up the lead in the top of the 8th. So, and they take the L. So that closes out the first half of the season, even though they're like, right under 100 games.
Yeah.
So kind of irritating weekend in the sense that I feel like this homestand, 5 out of 7 again. Yeah, you're always going to be happy about that, but it's that damn sweep from the Tigers, man, last weekend.
Yeah.
Yep. That just freaking ruins the whole homestand. Because 2 of those games you for sure should have won.
Yep.
And then, you lose by 1 run today in a game you came back and you tied up. The loss against the Rockies was a weird game where they, once again have a base running blunder that cost them runs. So I don't know, man. It just feels like this season is continuously the shoulda, coulda, woulda season. Mm-hmm. And I talked about this at our live show last week, Spoke Justice. Thanks to everyone who watched along or attended. So the Reds right now, they played 97 games. They're 47-50. MLB.com shows that their expected win-loss, which again, expected means nothing, I'm well aware, is 53-44. Now, Ben, this gets deeper. Okay. So they should really be 6 games better than they are. Run differential. They are second in the division. They're the only one of 2 teams in the division that have a positive run differential.
Yep.
The Brewers obviously are unstoppable at times at
Yeah.
79. St. Louis in second place, minus 38 run differential. Pittsburgh in third, minus 9 run differential. The Reds in fourth, plus 38 run differential.
38, I was going to say, yeah.
It's freaking insane, man. It's just like, and so, you know, you keep having these games like you had today, and that, you know, it's like, whatever, man. Like, I'm just kind of just going to enjoy Elly De La Cruz and Hunter Greene and all these young, and Rece Hinds and all these guys for the rest of the year, because I feel like since August 1st of last year, we've kind of just been getting kicked in the groin.
Yeah. No, overall, I mean, it's just been underwhelming, I guess is the word I wanted to say. Like, it's been very underwhelming. You know,
I mean, unless you're Mr. Watt, apparently you got $300 in bets this week based on your offense.
There you go.
Share the wealth, my guy. Share some advice. What am I not doing right here?
What are we missing?
You know what I'm doing wrong? I'm betting on NBA Summer League. That's what I'm doing wrong.
Oh gosh. Oh Lord.
We got the Rockets and the Lakers today.
Come on, Bronny. Give me some.
Reed Shepherd. Sure, I'll put money on him.
Yep. Oh, that's hilarious. But yeah, man, it's really been just kind of it's been underwhelming. Like it's just, you know, some of the things that you expected haven't come the way that you wanted them to, and you just watch this whole product, dude, and it's. I don't even really know how to explain it. Like, it's just so frustrating because the talent is there in spots. But I think
literally in spots.
Yeah, literally in spots. But the frustrating part about that is that this isn't a bash session on management, but like,
oh no, it can be. It's fine.
But I just don't feel like we're gonna do anything to improve it. Like, I don't feel like there are things where they're gonna make a move and I'm gonna be like, oh man, that's really good. Maybe we can try to make a move. I don't feel like I feel like they're comfortable.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they're good. Like they're like, well, these are the guys we're running out here, and this is what we got, and this is where we're gonna be, and
we're still in it.
We're still right there. We're so many games out. A couple games go here or there. We get this guy back or that guy back or whatever. And that's, as an organization, as a fan of an organization, like, that's not a good feeling. Like, it's not a good feeling when you think your organization is disgusting.
Hey, Muhammad.
Huh?
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah.
Must have got the wrong show. All right. Well.
Yeah.
I feel like I had to display it. I mean.
Yeah. Like. But yeah, like if I felt like our guys were going to make a move or do something where they felt like they could build around and fill some of the spots that we know need to be filled, I would feel different. But I just know that we'll sit on our hands and feel like that we're okay and what we got is enough, and we'll finish the season at 500 and we'll be 8 games out, and we'll just hope that Matt McClain comes back healthy next year, and
TJ Friedl
comes back healthy next year, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
I just feel like everything that we needed to know about management happened with that draft pick today, and that's not, I mean, like I said, I don't want to sit here and bash and complain, but I do feel like everything that we needed to see came up with the draft today.
Yeah. They did trade this week for AC Slater of the Bayside Tigers. I'm sorry, Austin Slater. Yeah, Mario Lopez is not playing right field for the Cincinnati Reds, unfortunately.
Dang it.
But, yeah, dude, it's just like, you're absolutely right, though. I mean, you look at last year and when it's like the Sam Maul trade, which Sam Maul was good. I have no issues with Sam Maul at all.
Not at all.
I just don't know if that's like my one thing I'm doing. And we're not going to go through that whole thing again. We're not trying to start the Cincinnati Red Civil War, but
No.
yeah, I'm with you, dude. It's just like I feel like we're in this situation once again where, and the conversation's coming up: should there be buyers or sellers? Should there be buyers? Should there be buyers or sellers? Like, what are they selling? Who is out there like, hey man, I could use that Will Benson right now. That Will Benson
Right.
bat.
Yeah, we are probably in the worst position possible because
You're average.
We can't buy nor sell nothing.
Right. You are the Chicago Bulls of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, like we can't buy or sell nothing. Like we got no product that nobody wants except for the guy that we ain't trading.
Right.
And you know, we're not going to be guys that are going to go out in the market and try to find anybody. So, like I said, we'll just sit on our hands. We'll say, oh well, we'll blame Matt McClain's injury. We'll blame Friedel not being healthy. Yeah. We'll blame this guy not being here, or Will Benson having a down year, or somebody. But I just think that our organization is just happy to sit back.
Josh with the nail on the head. This team plays just well enough to keep us hoping, not well enough to be a good team. And that's the thing. Like Kerry says here, so many teams from the same situation fighting for a spot. Yeah. This is what expanded playoffs do. And I'm not anti that. Like if the Reds make the playoffs, I don't care if they're 78 and 84, if they're 96 and 66. I'm going to be excited. I'm going to root for them. But also that's what you get when you go in these situations. Yeah. Mr. Juan, sign Juan Soto this winter and everything will be corrected. 1,000%. 1,000%.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Kerry, as much as I like TJ, how long before he's back on the IL? This year especially, it's just been like that year for him. And it's like you don't want to tell him to not play hard, like, but
I mean, that's just his style. I'm not mad that he plays baseball that way. Like that's the way he plays, and actually, I appreciate it. He just needs to learn how to stay healthy.
Yeah. So I did have to make sure I make mention before we move on. Last week during the live show, Smoke Justice, I did question if Tyler Stevenson could be a long-time player. And obviously that has gone back in my face because he has been incredible since then. So what can I say except you're welcome? Because anytime I say something about a guy, something goes the opposite way. And he's been just hitting bombs ever since. And I love to see it. It was like, and you've been with me on this show every week for 2 seasons.
Yep.
I have never once said a bad thing about Tyler Stevenson. The first time I questioned him, he's like, all right, dude, I'm just going to hit bombs. And
we've always been Ty Steve supporters.
Yeah. Steve Offenbaker, he texts me every time he homers. I'm like, yes, I saw it too. I only texted the other day. I was like, at this point, it's just funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Will Benson, come on, dude. We got to figure this out, my guy. Like, you haven't been very good. Yeah, dude. This is real things. Real things here.
Dude. Oh, that's 100% true.
Yeah, for sure. Kerry has the Lodola's blister bust on him today. If he goes back to the IL, I'm just gonna wave the white flag next week on the show. I'm just gonna to be sitting here doing this whole time. Just give me the end of September, and I'll see you guys in February.
Right. Hold on. So, of course, I wasn't able to watch today because we were out running around.
Same.
But
kind of listened to a little here and there.
Yeah, I was going to say, did he get pulled because of the blister, or did he?
He didn't look like he had his best stuff. So 4 2/3, and he had he had 4 walks and 4 strikeouts. He looked pretty good the first 3 innings. I was like, all right, cool. Like, and then it seems like just kind of like a couple innings, just kind of things got a little away from him. I mean, you can only give it 2 runs. So Tony Santion's been back on the big league club. I don't know if you saw this or not, because it's the 850th move. Can we talk about Fernando Cruz real quick? Because things changed very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Last 15 appearances, 7.20 ERA.
Yeah.
Last 15 appearances, Ben, 10 innings.
Oh gosh. Ouch.
Oof.
Gosh dang.
Yeah. So Josh says he was biting his finger. I hope this is just he's overworked and he's going to be fine with the 6 days off. But I am getting a little pessimistic there. We have to make note because, again, the internet likes to tell me I'm wrong, and that's fine. I can live with being wrong and I can admit it. But Justin Wilson's been incredible the last 15 appearances. Well, Fernando Cruz is not. So, yeah. Yes. Edwin Rios is starting baseball games for the Cincinnati Reds. Austin Wins is the backup catcher of the Cincinnati Reds at times. Well, and I understand Luke Mailey's hurt. But, guys, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. What are we doing? Austin Slater was like the trade. AC Slater? That's the guy we went and got? Like,
he said AC Slater. Dude,
come on.
Hilarious.
It's just...
Oh, my goodness.
And people can do all this bull crap like, well, they don't spend money and they don't do, and like, whatever. I get it. The Guardians don't spend money. They're awesome all the time. They're never bad. When they're bad for like 60 games, and then it's like they figure it out. This team, like, they are like this well-run team. They always figure out their issues. They're always competitive. They're always successful. Well, we're sitting over here like, same financial situation, and we can't do half the things they do. And it sucks. It sucks so much because we know what the history of the Cincinnati Reds are. We know this historic, unbelievable franchise. And I don't mean to go on this tangent. This was not planned, so I'm sorry if you were coming here for this and like you were hearing me say this stuff. I don't mean to just rain on the parade. Maybe the typical piss off like podcast fan, but I don't get it. I don't get how people look at these systems and like, I don't mean to just kind of ramp on them. I mean, I understand they don't, we may not have a Jose Ramirez, but they don't have an Elly De La Cruz.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Mr. Juan, I want a Steven Kwan on our team. Everybody wants a Steven Kwan because that guy has a chance to like be the batting champion by like a long margin. It's not very close. And it's just like, maybe it's a development thing. I don't know what it is, but, and shout out our guy, Quincy Wheeler. Congratulations on getting the guy you wanted today. Congratulations on your team making the right pick with that number 1 overall. But by the way, I'm picking J-Ram to win the home run derby tomorrow. I think he's going to do it this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So sorry, Ben. I did not tell you that was going to happen.
But I like it. I like when you go on tangents because it usually makes a lot of sense because it's so frustrating. Like it's like they just do. It's just I don't know. Like it's almost like
maybe like Cleveland's the exception to the rule because the White Sox don't spend money and they're terrible. And they also have shitty ownership. So I can say,
but
I spent a lot of my life as a Bulls fan. I can say they have bad ownership. So
yeah, but I think there has to be something. I don't know. There has to be something in there that's different. Like is it like coaching? Is it development? Is it what would be the difference between a team that like two teams that are comparable as far as roster wise, that one has lots of success and the other one is mired in mediocrity? Like,
yeah,
I think sometimes maybe teams need to hear a different voice, or maybe it's something where it's a culture thing, right? Like it's coaches set up culture and coaches set up how teams respond in certain situations. So, and I'm not blaming David Bell for who he's had to play. Like that's not his fault. He can only play the guys. Yeah, he can only play the guys he has. But he's also the culture setter for your team, right? Like he's the guy that sets the tone. So if guys aren't responding to that in a positive way, or guys aren't fearing him, or guys don't respond to his coaching, is it time for a different voice? I don't know that. I don't know that question. But I do know that you see a lot of teams, a lot of times that are in the same situations as the Reds are, and they make a move at the top, and it seems to make a difference because sometimes you just need to hear a different voice. And maybe the Reds are maybe they're just used to Bell's voice, and so they just like, maybe we just do whatever.
Yeah.
So
Josh says Soto and the Polar Bear 2025 World Series champs. Oh man, love it. Carrie asks, fun question. What does Elly do in the All-Star game so everyone views him as we do? This is actually a really great question. Because I'm starting to hear more and more that people are really recognizing him as being this international player. So when I guested on that Dodgers podcast, and all they wanted to talk to was Elly De La Cruz. And like, I love it. It's awesome. So I think we're kind of getting to that point, but I feel like a triple is going to be the thing that people are going to be like, oh, this guy he's a one of one.
yeah,
But yeah, I think, I really think the world is kind of is like quickly catching on to what he is. And I think the thing that's really cool about him, and we talk about this every week. Actually, this is kind of a funny thing I was going to tell you. So have you noticed that we've gotten so spoiled with Elly De La Cruz that like, I'll watch these things that MLB will tweet out, and it's highlights of these shortstops making these like plays I couldn't dream of making. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I have Elly De La Cruz. I see do that every day. I've gotten to that point, and I know that's terrible of me. But I just really feel like that's who we're at now. It's like, oh yeah, that guy made an awesome Derek Jeter like play. Like I see like De La Cruz that every day.
Yeah, no, and I think that of course the more we have him, the more accustomed we get to seeing that, and it's really cool. It kind of reminds me of the Barry Larkin effect. Like people don't realize how good Barry Larkin was until you go back and you're like, oh my God, like we got to watch Barry Larkin every day, and he was phenomenal. And what sucks about that is when he was really good, he was kind of overshadowed by Ozzie Smith because Ozzie Smith got all the All-Star nods. But Barry Larkin was just as good in the All-Star, but
better.
Right. Well, I mean, hold on. That's another pod for another date. Because we'll definitely go into some Barry over Ozzy anytime you want to. But
I'll take Barry over Jeter too.
We can go into that too for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. But he was so good that it was the same thing. Like we were just accustomed to him to being so good. Like you're like, oh well, like we see that all the time because Barry Larkin is just that good. Elly is that and more because he's so rangy and long and athletic and can run and can do all these different things. Like, yeah, you're right. We are so accustomed to him being able to do the spectacular that it becomes the normal.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like I see all the stuff all the time. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I've seen that.
Yeah. Don't get me started on the Larkin Jeter.
Dude. Okay.
No,
this is what we should have done for
started. Don't get me started.
All-Star Week. So Carrie says, to be sure Elly gets on, do they bring him as a pitch runner? I think the world would be pretty upset if he didn't get in that bat. Yeah. Just the capability of hitting bombs, and I just think that people would not be pleased with that.
And I think people will challenge him with a fastball. So that'll be the cool thing is that, like, see how far he can hit a fastball.
Yeah. So Dave brought this up earlier. I do want to make sure I get to it. Chat's been really lively tonight, as always. We definitely appreciate it. When you finish the actual stuff, let's talk about how awesome it was to hear the stadium chanting Rece, Rece, Rece when that man came to the plate today. He didn't produce, but cool AF. Rece Hinds, putting the world on notice. Dude, all right. So doing stuff we haven't seen before. And I think what's really cool, too, is people are like throwing him breaking balls and he's still making contact.
Yeah.
So obviously struck out a lot of AAA this year. This is probably not going to last as far as what he's doing, but I do feel like he's a pretty darn capable major league hitter. I've seen a lot of like, this was just Aquino all over again. I think he's a better contact hitter than Aquino by a long shot was. Yeah. And shout out to Aristides Aquino doing his thing in Mexico right now. But I just kind of feel like with him, I still think the strikeouts are going to be a thing. But
I think
also
strikeouts
do.
are a thing with everybody too.
Yeah,
This,
right.
I think that's with everybody. Like these days of guys only striking out 60 times in a season, like that's so rare anymore. Like it
Yeah, we
doesn't
don't have Tony Gwynn's anymore.
Yeah, like it doesn't happen anymore. So people that fall in love with strikeout numbers is crazy to me because everybody's going to strike out because
Yeah.
it's baseball's hard.
Bryce Harper strikes out. Mike Trout strikes out.
Yeah, baseball's hard.
Aaron Judge has a golden sombrero this year.
Yes, he does.
So
I mean,
and
baseball's
also
hard.
800 home runs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I would take that every day of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been really fun though. Let me ask you this. So, when guys normally get that kind of uniform number in baseball, it normally means you're not going to be with the big league club a long time.
Correct.
Blake Dunn got 76 this year, to put in context.
Yeah.
With how he's hitting, you can't change it, right? It's got to be the thing. He's got to wear that.
No, he's got it. Yeah, he's got to stay with that. No doubt about it. Like he's got to stay with that. Like that's the way he's crushing baseballs. Yeah, you can't change.
Yeah, you can't change. I always laugh at. Did you ever watch Arliss?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Do you remember there was the episode where Arliss had the prospect that he got drafted by the Knicks, and the Knicks wouldn't retire someone's number?
Yeah.
And he was like,
yeah,
he made the agreement to get whatever number he wore retired, like left in the rafters. This is a blank jersey.
Yeah. I never remember that episode.
Yeah, that's like Rece Hinds. I think since his shirt already has a Heinz 77 shirt, you can't change it, man. Like I think he's got to roll with it. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude, Arliss was phenomenal. What a phenomenal show.
I think it's back on Max. I might do a watch through. It's probably terrible. Probably does not age very well. But
is it really? Yeah, might. Probably not.
I think Larkin's on an episode, actually, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the guy we think is better than Derek Jeter.
Might be.
Yeah. All right. So, real quick, a couple more things before we get out of here, because something came up on Twitter today on my personal account that I have to talk about with people. But home run derby tomorrow. So I've already said I'm taking Jose Ramirez. Contestants are, let me get this pulled up real quick, and I'll get your thoughts. Pete Alonso of the Mets, obviously. Alec Baum, Adolis Garcia, Gunnar Henderson, Teoscar Hernandez, Marcell Ozuna. As a girl dad, I could never pick Marcell Ozuna for anything. Jose Ramirez and Bobby Witt Jr. Who are you taking? I'm sick with Jose Ramirez, man. I feel like he's gonna hit a lot of bombs.
Yeah. I kind of like beat up Jay, man. Bobby Witt. I think I'm gonna go Bobby Witt Jr.
I like that pick. Who hits the longest home run? I'm going Teoscar.
Yeah, Teoscar will crush one. No doubt.
For sure. All right. So that's all the baseball chat here. I have to do one thing before we get out of here. We got 5 minutes left. So this came up today where I think those who follow me, those who know, I talk about it a lot. So the weekend, I'll be here this next Sunday, but the Sunday after I'm off. My family and I were doing the Disney Wish cruise, so we're going to the Bahamas. My first cruise, my daughter's very first Disney experience. Those who know me know how excited I am. I love this. Went and saw Lion King today. Took her to the movie theater for the first time. It was the 30th anniversary screening.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my wife and I are looking stuff up, and I say, hey, they do Disney karaoke on the ship. And it turns into this whole thing where she starts researching all the songs that are on there, and basically any song you can think of from a Disney movie is available to sing karaoke. And it has become a big chat and text messages. It was a little hot there this afternoon on the Twitters. So I think I've narrowed mine down to You're Welcome from Moana, The Rock. I quoted it earlier in the show. I think I don't know. I thought about maybe going a little How Far I'll Go from Moana, but I think I'm gonna have to stick with my ace in the hole. I'm gonna go with my Eye to Eye from Goofy movie. What do you think?
Oh, That's solid. That's solid. You know, my choice was definitely "You're Welcome" by Moana. Probably one of my all-time favorites. I'm also a Whole New World. Like that's another one that I like.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
The Reddit thing we looked at said every single time that someone does "We Don't Talk About Bruno" from Encanto.
We don't talk about Bruno. No. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
So yeah, we're probably just ruining the rest of our show for the day. But
no, this is
we're the All-Star break now, so
yeah. No, that's good. This is good. Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno is a good one.
Yeah. I thought about Just Can't Wait to Be King. You know, Lion King fan.
Ooh,
So
yeah. Those are all solid, man.
Yeah, Mr. Wants is A Whole New World. I don't know if my wife is not the most socially active, puts herself out there person, so I don't know if I can get her to do a duet, but
she's on, Grace.
She's also brought my
gotta
attention,
be.
so I feel like I'm gonna have to push this to see if we can.
Yeah, she's got to do the duet.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be it's either gonna be Nate, it might be Offenbaker with you that weekend. I'm gone. So,
sweet.
Which would be fun. He can tell you how wrong I am about Tyler Stevenson. So, Benny, the Reds don't play again until Friday. They go to our nation's capital for a series with the Nationals.
Okay.
Then Nick Senzelis, Washington Nationals now. So, how are you going to spend your evenings this week not watching baseball games?
Ooh, gosh, that's a good question. Well, I will probably do a lot of cooking because that's what I do.
Yeah. Ben's an incredible cook, by the way.
Yeah, so I'll probably do some cooking. I'm sure my kids got some training somewhere. I'm sure my daughter's got to be somewhere. I'm sure, I'm sure my kids have got to be somewhere. So that'll be a lot of the stuff that I'll do is run around with them.
Yeah, you kind of do that. You do that a lot.
Dude, it's wild.
Yeah. College football 25, the thing we've been waiting 10 years for finally drops.
That's tomorrow night. That's what I'll be doing. I will be locked in me and my son will be locked in some battles tomorrow. So that'll be all that I do.
Mm-hmm.
So people won't be able to get a hold of me, won't be able to text me.
Same.
I think it said drops at 4:00. So from 4:00 on, don't reach out because it's already downloaded. We already downloaded it.
Yep,
we got the pre-order. We did all that stuff. So don't call, don't text, don't do any of that stuff. We'll be locked in.
With how realistic it is that they're making it from all the videos, is Isaac actually using this to see where he could fit and play for college football next year?
Oh, he definitely has thought about it for sure. Yeah, he's definitely thought about it for sure. Yeah,
some of the detail I've seen, I'm like, this is unbelievable, man.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, I'm super stoked, man. I'm not even super deep in the college football anymore, but I'm very
I was gonna say, yeah. I watch a lot of college football, but I've definitely missed that game. So
yeah, it's gonna be awesome, man. I can't wait. Well, dude. Well, actually, but one last thing before we get out here. For those of you newbies who are playing this for the first time, understand we had to go there and ourselves back in the day and put all those kids' names in there. We didn't just have it put out. Yeah. Those were days.
Those were days. Those were absolute days.
We'd be printing rosters off on the internet and be like, all right, this is Joe Jones. He's a fullback, freshman, number 47.
Putting them everyone in. It was crazy.
Yeah. So enjoy this because we didn't get to enjoy it so much. But
we did not.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We're going to go and close this out before we talk about God knows what else. But thank you all for hanging out. We greatly appreciate it. Yeah. Enjoy your time. Hopefully we get to see Hunter and Elly make some noise in the All-Star game.
That'd be awesome.
We didn't even talk about it on the show, man. I'm so happy Hunter made the All-Star game.
Yeah, me too.
So awesome. He totally deserved it. He's had a great year. And the start he had this week against the Rockies was another awesome one. So congrats to those guys. I'm really happy to see you guys show out for the city and for the franchise. And we're really excited. So we're going to close this out. Everyone enjoy the week off. Enjoy the All-Star festivities. On behalf of Ben, this is Tim Daniel. Have a good night, everybody.